TechTales 80. Today's July 16th on a Friday morning. Yay, it's Friday again. 6:24 a.m. and I'm going to share some time slips. These are my actual billable work to my clients for my local computer support business that I've been doing for around 30 years. So here's a time slip on Sunday, July 4th for 50 minutes, 50 minutes for the apartment building I refer to as Mike Tango, 6:30 a.m. to 7:20 a.m. Resident computers lab work. I've reported before that I picked up these computers. Let's see. Right here I got 5 of them. So I was doing lab work on them, and this was a time slip for that. Resident computers lab work. Created user account for local admin and local resident. Limited installations to Microsoft Store apps. So these computers are used by the residents in this government-assisted apartment building. I think I need some coffee. And we want to, kind of tie them down a little bit and restrict their usage. Since this time slip, I have a better way of doing it using a software utility that one of my frequent viewers and participants in live chat when I do live streamings, name is The Manor. Still struggling on pronouncing his name right. And it's called Time Freeze. So that's going to be a much better way to deal with it than store apps. But store apps really caused me a problem here. Attempted to install Microsoft Store apps, difficulty encountered with all but 3 of the Microsoft accounts not recognized as being Microsoft accounts. So my client has about, 8 or 9 Microsoft accounts for the very staff in their company. When I tried to log into the Microsoft Store, all except 3 of them, when I typed in the email address and clicked next to get to the screen where it would let me type in a password, it wouldn't even go to that screen. It just gave me a red message saying this is not a valid Microsoft account. Yet I could go to office.com and log in using those same credentials. Yes, it is a valid Microsoft account, but trying to log into the Microsoft Store would not work. Well, 3 of the accounts, I would put in the email address and click next, and it went to the password field. And at that point, I said, well, okay, so that's a valid Microsoft account. Then I went back to trying to figure out what's wrong with the account that I'm wanting to use. Later in this whole episode, I discovered that those other 3 were still rejected as not being valid Microsoft accounts once I put in the password. But because I got to the password prompt field, I figured, okay, it's accepting those as a valid Microsoft account. So at that point in time, I'm thinking there's something wrong between these different accounts. So I don't think the problem is with the computer. I don't think the problem is with my client's Microsoft domain or their Microsoft 365 for business, but rather the configuration somehow of those accounts. So I wind up finding the solution to this not in a time slip. It's not going to be named in a time slip. So I'm going to show you how to go see the solution for that and how we found it. And what I mean by we, see, I think I need to turn on a picture-in-picture here with that one. Yep, there it is. So I'll go to a new tab and type youtube.com/LWTDB. That's the way to get directly to my channel because that's the acronym for my channel, Live Windows Training DougBetts, LWTDB. And then come here to videos and look for the video called Live Lab Work. Here it is, Lab Work Live PC. And in here, the participants in the chat room, we work together to figure out the solution. And the solution comes from one of the members in the chat room. I almost think I remember the name, but I'm not gonna say it for fear of having the wrong name. But he posts in the chat a link to the Microsoft Store for Business. And sure enough, if you go to a Google search or a Microsoft Edge search, Bing, okay, obviously I don't use it very often, and search for Microsoft Store for Business, you can click on that link and you can get to the Microsoft Store for Business. So if you're using a Microsoft 365 account for business, you have to go that way. You cannot click the link on the taskbar for the Microsoft Store. This is just baffling to me that Microsoft did not have the foresight to realize that if somebody clicks on the Microsoft Store icon that's prominently on the taskbar and wants to get to the Microsoft Store for Business, they type in an email address, click next to get to the password prompt, instead of telling them that they need to go to the Microsoft Store for Business, or instead of actually automatically sending them there, or instead of displaying a message saying that you need to use the Microsoft Store for Business. Did I already say that? We're going to display a message that that's not a valid Microsoft account. If you've watched any number of my videos, you've seen me sometimes defend Microsoft and give them kudos for something they do. And you also see me criticize them. It's clearly a love-hate relationship. And when it's on the hate side, it's baffling. I try to find an explanation. What could be the truth behind this situation that caused this oversight? It's either an oversight or it's a decision, right? Could it possibly be a decision? No, if somebody types in a Microsoft 365 for Business email address, we are not going to help them find their way to the business store. That would be a decision. Is there any set of circumstances that would have brought that about? So if you answer no to that, then you have to say, okay, is there any set of circumstances where it's conceivable that they didn't realize, as far along as we are with Windows 10 and with Microsoft 365 and the Windows Store, is it possible that this has not come to their attention, that they could do a little tweak, have it downloaded in a cumulative update on an Update Tuesday, so that if somebody clicks on that icon for the Microsoft Store and they put in an email address that Microsoft can easily identify or recognize as a Microsoft 365 for Business account, just send them to the right store. But no, instead, you have to go get a link. Where do you find the link? I can't find it anywhere within the Windows desktop. Now, the one thing that I have not tried is actually signing in the computer to Windows with the Microsoft account. However, I found that if I already have a local user account and I click on the icon for sign in with a Microsoft account instead and put in the email address for that Microsoft account and click next, guess what? I get a message saying that's not a valid Microsoft account. So the only next thing on my mind that I haven't tried yet is to create a new user account on the local computer using a Microsoft account from the get-go. Now, it might be different if I do that on a computer that already has an admin account that's local. If I were to install Windows and put in a business account to sign in with a Microsoft account, I think very clearly at that point, it's got to work. That has to work. But adding a new user account to an existing computer that has a local admin account, add this new user account with a Microsoft account, will that work, or will that give me a message that it's not a valid account? So I don't know yet. I haven't tried that. But that is just crazy, insane. So I spent a significant amount of time trying to figure that out on my own, and I did not find the solution. So then I come up with the idea, okay, well, I'll do a live lab work, this thumbnail to the left of my mouse, and work with a chat room. Now let's see. Actually, I see there's two. I have two live lab works here. Let's make sure that's the one that that I think it is.
They have it, as icons.
Let's see. So I'm going to hit the number 2 on my keyboard. That's going to advance me up to 20% into the video. Here's 30% into the video by pressing the number 3. And then 40% into the video, 50%, 60%, 70%. Yes, that is the one. Not all games are free over here. So yes, that is the right video. And so if you picked up something there that you didn't already know when you're watching a YouTube video, you can use the number keys across the top of the keyboard, 1 through 0. 0 takes you to the beginning of the video. 1 will take you to the 10% position in the video. The 2 would be 20% on all the way through. So that's another way to maneuver through videos. All right, I think that's going to do it. I just didn't accomplish many time slips today, but that was worth a little bit of a rant about. I hope that was useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.